Welcome to the She Suite Society, a community where women from all backgrounds come together to share their stories, support one another, and reveal the unfiltered reality of our lives. I'm your host and empowerment Sherpa, Dahlia, and this podcast exists to give voice and space to women whose experiences might otherwise go unheard. Today, I'm joined by Yasmine Robles, owner of Rebel Marketing, whose journey from corporate burnout to successful entrepreneurship is both inspiring and deeply personal. What started as Robles Designs in 2014 while she was still working late nights in her corporate role has evolved into a thriving business that she's intentionally rebranded to embrace her Latina heritage. Yasmine's story is one of resilience forged through adversity. Growing up in a chaotic environment marked by domestic abuse, she's developed a perspective that makes current business challenges feel manageable by comparison. Her path to entrepreneurship wasn't just about professional fulfillment. It was about creating flexibility to be present for her two children when her employer wouldn't accommodate a hybrid work arrangement. What makes Yasmine's insights so valuable is her hard-won understanding of boundaries. From being a yes person in corporate to learning to say no to last-minute client projects, she's mastered the art of protecting her energy and mental health while building a successful business. As she prepares to welcome her third child and considers international moves to Mexico, Portugal, or Spain, her story offers wisdom for anyone trying to build something meaningful while navigating personal challenges.
Thank you for joining me on my podcast, She Suite Society. And I'm excited for everybody to hear your story because most people, you have a very large network, kind of like law. Everybody knows you. You're in the area. It's just people know who you are, but they don't know who you are. They don't know, they've not heard your story, and they know you as an entrepreneur. They know you as this powerhouse of a female, but they don't know your story. So I'm hoping that you can walk me through your story. And I do want to, we'll start kind of a little bit now. You're the owner of Rebel Marketing. Is it Rebel Marketing? Rebellious Little Marketing? What is it? What did you rename it? You're now.
Yeah, so it used to be Robles Designs, and now we renamed it to Rebel Marketing officially. I did add the DE into the logo because I'm Latina. So in Spanish, rebelde is this, it's rebel. So I wanted to add a little bit of a differentiator in there, but we're Rebel Marketing.
I love that. Oh, I love that. Okay. And you started this from the research I found in 2014. Is that right?
Yep.
And you started it while still working in corporate.
Yes.
How fun was that?
It was fun. It was a lot of late nights. I had been freelancing, and I was friends with people who worked for the SBDC, and they said you probably need some kind of legal name for the business. So I did that. I never thought it would grow. I thought I was going to just do it for freelance. And then, I had two little kids, and I needed that flexibility. And I was honestly like the lowest ranking person. I was not in any important meetings. And I thought, well, I could probably do this hybrid and stop trying to beat traffic all the time and trying not to get charged extra at daycare, and then having to log in afterwards anyway, or earlier in the morning before going in to work the next day. And they said it wasn't really in their policy to do that. And this was prior to the pandemic. So then I was like, well, I'm making somewhat enough money. And my husband said, you know what, just give your notice. We can make it somehow. And so I did.
And never look back. 2017, you're just full on. So let's go back a little farther. Or did I mess that up?
No, that's good. Yeah.
I was like, did I mess up your time? Okay. I want to go back farther. You mentioned about growing up. I want to talk about that. Where did you grow up?
So I was born in California, but I actually grew up in Erie, Pennsylvania. So I'm used to tons of snow and driving in snow and ice and all of that stuff. That's really where I grew up. For me, it was really tiny. I go back now and I'm like, wow, everything has really grown.
Right.
Erie, Pennsylvania has grown. But when I was there, I just felt like a very small place. And then I came to Columbus to go to school.
Okay, because you went to CCAD, right?
Yes.
Oh, that's so special. Do you have siblings?
Yes, I have two younger siblings. I am the oldest.
You're the oldest. Oh, man. You're the oldest in your family?
Yes. Mhm.
Okay. And both your parents, are they still in Erie?
So my mother is in Erie, Pennsylvania. My father, my biological father, he's traveling around in California and doing his thing. And then my stepfather, whom I actually grew up with, he's back in Mexico.
Back in Mexico.
So they
Okay,
divorced. So
divorced. And where are your siblings?
I have a sister here in Columbus, Ohio. She is getting her master's in marketing. And then my brother is still in Erie, Pennsylvania, doing his own thing, businesses, investing in properties, things like that.
Will your sister come to work with you, do you think?
You know, I think no.
No.
So I've seen being an entrepreneur, I've seen family businesses work. And I've seen a lot of them, either the business fails or the family dynamics fail. So my stance for 2025 is, let's try to keep family as family and then business as business, because it's hard, I think, sometimes, especially my husband also owns businesses. And even when he asks me questions, I get like this nerve-wracking feeling. And I am not the best person to teach him anything like QuickBooks, because he's my husband. And so, like, it's very different from teaching someone else something about marketing or website. Teaching him, it's weird. It's like I get more annoyed easily. So keeping that barrier is important for me.
You are somebody who is great at boundaries, but I don't want to go there just yet. I read about you. Well, first of all, on your LinkedIn profile, you say you're like you're the chief glitter officer, and then you're the OG glitter bomber of things. Where did the glitter thing come from?
So when I first started the business, a lot of the branding had glitter in it, and I really wanted to differentiate it and make it obvious that it was women owned. And
Oh, okay.
so I was the glitter bomber of branding and glitter bomber of website. And that kind of stuck throughout the years. And obviously, there's no more glitter in a lot of our branding now, but it's a title that really stuck with people. And so I still, even though we've started changing our intro, our elevator pitch, it's still, when I walk into a room, they're like, "Oh yeah, the glitter bomber of brands." Like, or
That's the
websites.
glitter bomber.
Yeah.
I love it so much. Okay. Um, oh, so you built this business and you
Mhm,
started with nothing.
mhm.
And you had the understanding because you went to CCAD. Did you go to CCAD for marketing?
I went for industrial design, and I took a lot of like the graphic courses and things like that. It gave a well-rounded understanding of just design in general. And then with industrial design, it was very heavy on the user. So how is the user going to use this stapler, for example, that you are creating? How is the user going to sit on this chair? What is even the purpose of the chair? Is it a wheelchair? Is it just for aesthetics and it doesn't actually have to be that comfortable? So that's actually what's, I think, been left over and guided me throughout all of the years. It's like, what does the user actually want? Why are we even creating this website? Um, and then I got a job at a sign shop as an industrial designer. Got a job at a sign shop doing 3D things, but I was the most, from per my memory, I was the most junior, and they needed a website redone, and so I started redesigning their website, or trying to. And then slowly I started breaking other people's websites and then learning how to fix them, learning about WordPress, learning how to develop, do front end development. And yeah, and then it just kept growing from there, word of mouth.
Yeah. I mean, sincerely, everybody knows you. Like in Columbus, Ohio, at least I can say that. Just that's how we ended up bumping into each other and constantly. Um, one of the things I noticed about you when I met you right away, A, you're everywhere. B, you're very, very good about boundaries and about compartmentalizing in a way that I know I struggle with. And I know quite a few people that do. And when I read about you, you have this phrase of leave behind this yes girl and really stick to those boundaries. When did you start doing that? How do you do that?
It's been a slow, and it's still sometimes I have to remind myself that I have to set boundaries, because I love working with, for example, nonprofits. I love working with chambers, and chambers are very limited sometimes in funds. And I just like helping people so that when they have a problem, whether it's marketing or anything, right? I like providing that support. But slowly throughout the years, learning how to just say, how will this affect me, and how does this circle back to my goals? So even if someone's in corporate, right? I was very much of a yes person in corporate, and then realizing that corporate is a business, and I'm nothing bad about corporate. I don't want to, talk bad about it, because you never know, you might have to go back. But I've also learned never say never. Um, but I never set boundaries. So whether it was hopping online to edit a website at 6 a.m. or like driving home, putting my kids, giving them dinner, putting them to bed, and then hopping back online because I had to prep for an early morning website update. Those were all things that needed to be done, but I still would go in. So even if I woke up at 6 a.m., did the website update, I would still be into the office by between 8 and 9, depending on what day it was, and still maybe even stay late. So that would have been an opportunity to start creating boundaries within that corporate space, and protecting from burnout. And then with business, I love what I do, especially meeting people. I'm not the most extrovert, but I do like hearing people's stories. And learning how to set those boundaries of, no, I can't feasibly pay my employees if I lower my pricing, or if we are overloaded in projects, we cannot do the best in quality. There's also been times when I've had like whale clients, right? They're the best clients, but then they are the majority of our funds, and they are the majority of our headaches. And so learning how to set those boundaries, learning how to fire clients. And it's scary in business to set those boundaries, even firing a client or saying, hey, you gave this project to me at the last minute. We don't do that. We will try our best, but you won't get it by tomorrow morning. You're going to get it by the end of the day or whatever. That's scary. Like telling a client that because you want to please them. And then there's boundaries for personal too. So setting boundaries for, I made the example of my husband. He owns businesses. He's trying to learn QuickBooks. Setting boundaries of, I am not going to tackle this invoice for you because I've shown you how to do it. Call me over when you've already attempted to do it yourself. And then I can check your work, right? So that's a small boundary. With family, just setting boundaries of, and family's, I think, the hardest one.
Yeah.
Because you want to help out your siblings, you want to help out your parents, and you got to realize, like, I'm expecting, so I'll eventually have 3 kids at the end of the year.
Oh, congratulations!
Yeah, well, it wasn't just a big eating a lot of tacos during the summer, but
I wouldn't have judged if it was.
yeah. So like, how do I then protect my own mental health so that I can protect the mental health of those that are dependent upon me? And that could potentially mean setting boundaries with family, with employees, with business partners, with clients. Hopefully that answers the question. It's still really hard. I'm not going to say it's easy. When you tell somebody no, it's hard. And then you start like doubting yourself and asking yourself, am I a nice person? Am I not a nice person? Right. Or for me, I was like, if I don't feel bad about saying no, am I a serial killer? Is that in my future?
Right. I know. I have the same thoughts. Boundaries has been one where I didn't realize I was making boundaries because I've been told that I cut people off very quickly. And I've been told that. But then when I said this to someone else the other day who happens to be a coach and a friend, she was like, no, Dahlia, you held a boundary. They crossed the boundary repeatedly. And you told them if you keep doing that, there won't be any more relationship. So that's the normal thing.
Mm-hmm.
So it's that whole game of, am I the asshole? Probably I am. But I'm okay with that because that means, I tell my kids this the same. You teach people how to treat you. What you're willing to put up with is exactly what you'll get out of. And if you want people to keep treating you badly or not respecting your time and your space, then don't respect your time and space and let that keep happening. So I love that
Yeah.
you live that way. What's what's your day look like then? When you get up, I imagine none of your days look the same. I would imagine that. But what does a typical day in the life of Yasmine look like?
Yeah, so my husband's business takes him away. He travels a lot. So, or he will be awake really early because he'll have to travel like an hour away to a project site. He installs artificial turf. So usually it's a quick goodbye in the morning and then I start getting ready. But it is a really different day every day because I'm a part of different boards or committees. I might have different calls. It depends on the time of the month as well. Some usually the beginning of the month is heavier on events and the end of the month is catching up on things. So it does look very different, but I will say that as much as sometimes as it's annoying and I really wish I had like a 9 to 5 schedule, it is nice to annoyingly nice sometimes to be able to say, you know what, I'm going to get take the kids on this Friday to with their friends to the mall so they can go buy their back to school clothes. And meanwhile, I'll go to like Costco nearby and do the grocery shopping versus doing that on the weekend. So that is something that's nice. And learning that has also taught me how to be flexible. You're learning to just go with the flow and understanding that, you know, there's nobody, I am the boss. So there's nobody really, the buck stops with me. So if I don't do the work, that's okay as long as I have a plan for it. So like this weekend, they were getting back to school clothes. They were going, you know, doing their teen thing, shopping. I did the grocery shopping while they were doing that. I ran some errands. And then I worked over the weekend calmly. There was no calls. I actually got a lot of work done that had been backlogged. So it all balanced out. Um, so the days do not look the same, but I would say it's usually, you know, I'm in charge of the kids in the morning. So usually trying to do the mom thing and yelling at them to hurry up, getting them to school on time. Um, and asking them, like trying to pull out information from teenagers is hard, but like trying to ask them how their day went. Um, and then knowing that like it's just flexible. So if I want to take a break, I can take a break. And that's one of the hardest things too. So boundaries are hard, but knowing that I am an entrepreneur, I started this business for the flexibility, I can go and take a walk. Like I don't have to ask somebody about that. If my mental health is not the best that day, I am allowed to even take an hour off if I don't feel comfortable taking the full time off. I can say no to strategically to certain events instead of trying to be everywhere.
Do you feel the weight? Do you feel like that weight, that obligation of, not in a bad way, I don't even like really the word weight and obligation, but of being the owner, being the boss, having that responsibility? Or is it just, and it could be more than just these two options, or is it just so natural because you've kind of, I feel like you've been in that role for your whole life?
There's a weight when it comes to our entrepreneurship and being the owner. And now we have Izzy came on as a partner, right? But I'm still like everything stops with me. And there is a weight of now it's not just my earnings, it's this other person's earnings and it's the other employees and the interns and contractors and making sure everyone gets paid. So there is a weight to that. And seeing the housing costs and seeing inflation and figuring, well, if it's hard for me to purchase X, Y, and Z, what is that like for these people that are dependent on me to make sales? And that's, I think, one of the reasons I'm very open with everyone on the team is like, here's a situation. I'm not going to hide finances. This is where we are, just so that they have an understanding and there's transparency within Rebel Marketing and nothing comes as a surprise to them when decisions are being made. And they can be part of that decision making process as well. But there's also that weight of there's always that mom guilt, right? I see other parents like they might be. I might have an important client meeting, right, and I don't want to miss that, or like a NABO luncheon, and I don't want to miss that either. And then at the same time, there might be these parents that I see that are like walking with their kids, or I don't know, doing school activities, and there's that guilt, and it's like a weight that you feel. that you're not doing enough in these different aspects of life. But a long time ago, one of the I think her name is Noni Banks. A long time ago, I was part of her organization was called the Diva Movement. And she said, life is like seasons. Sometimes you lean heavier on the business. Sometimes you lean heavier on family, and that's okay. Like you don't have to be 100% in all of them at all times. And that's the way I see it. So this summer we were a little bit slow in business. That's perfect. I did things on the back end that could help. I helped Izzy with her leadership, and then I just took it in stride and tried to spend time with family. And then now that they're going back to school and I see that there's a lift in the business, I can dive back in.
So where do you see this all going? Where do you see you going? Not the company, not Rebel Marketing, not even the glitter stuff. Just you. Where do you see you going? And because you're a very big powerhouse in terms of both entrepreneurship, but then the Latina entrepreneurs, huge, and that's kind of a big topic right now. So where do you see all of this going for you?
So in full transparency, we're kind of fluid into going towards the end of 2025. We just because of everything that's happening, I guess you could say socially outside of the business sphere, we're looking into all of our options. So whether that is moving to a different country and how that would affect the business, how that affects Izzy as a partner, who's going to take over what role, how often can I come back, depending on the country that we end up choosing. Or is it something where I come back and forth every couple of months, you know? So we're kind of fluid right now, or do we end up staying or do we move to another state or another city? That is where we are right now. So it's very fluid. In 10 years, I would say, and I don't want to speak for like administrations or anything like that, but I'm hopeful that things have settled down maybe. I would love in 10 years to be traveling more often, whether or not I'm still in the business. Now we are in marketing. It is somewhat adjacent to tech. Women in tech is a little hard, and older women in tech is even harder. So whether I sell the business, give it away to Izzy or whatever that looks like, ideally, I think freedom and community come to mind. So whether that's here, whether that's in Mexico, I don't even know, Portugal, Spain, wherever that may end up be, community and being able to just have a little bit of more freedom and stability.
Yeah, I feel exactly the same way. I have a 5-year plan, and I've told my own company this. I'm like, you've got 5 years. In 5 years, I'm out, and I'm taking the kids with me, or they'll be old enough they can make their
Yeah.
decisions by then. But I'll be going to France, southern
Yeah.
France, or Portugal. Same thing. Can't agree more. So, and the reason I ask is because you're pretty well known for navigating chaos and somehow remaining the calm for everybody. And I can't imagine that that's easy for you to do. I can't. I mean, I'm also a chaos controller, but I feel like we deal with different rounds, different types of chaos. And so do you stay calm or do you lose it too, just like the rest of us?
Well, I have a therapist, so
Yeah.
that helps a lot. So a little bit about my childhood. I feel like I was kind of raised in chaos. It was not the best childhood. I don't know who can say that they had the best childhood, but like there were some domestic abuse going on, things like that. As a kid, like I remember having my like a backpack or a bag ready to go, like a go bag, just in case we had to leave again. And, so being raised in that, the way I see things is it's almost like the business chaos, all of this other chaos, it's really not that it's not that bad, but it's like comparing it to like the little kid me where I had no control, right? It was all the adults. Now I'm like, well, technically I'm the adult now. If I wanted to, I could get in my car and go. So that's sometimes how I compare it. But no, I still freak out. I've learned to keep a hold of my face together, or try to most of the time. Sometimes it doesn't work out. But definitely the therapy has worked. Just a couple of self-help books. I do a lot of checklists of to-dos. And sometimes those to-dos turn into more of like, what is bothering me right now? What is causing me to feel like that heaviness in my chest, or those heart palpitations? Why is it that I cannot focus on these tasks that I have to do? And then understanding that, again, there's flexibility, and it depends on the type of work you do, the type of business you have or career, but trying to step away and reminding myself. And it's hard. Sometimes, I'm trying to push through projects, and I'm pushing through, and I've been pushing through a project for 2 hours, but my brain keeps going everywhere because of some news that came out, right? But trying to remember, you know what, you're the boss for a reason. You're not stuck in an office for a reason. And even if you had an office again, you are still the boss. So you could technically go and take a break, like just a mental health break. That has helped me. But again, I'm old, so
You're not
it's been
old.
years. It's been years, right? So coming from a childhood of chaos, going off on my own to go to college, having kids at a very young age, and then navigating corporate and never really having that mentor, trying to just kind of falling on my face all the time. Now I'm like, you know what? This is I'm old enough to understand that there's a balance, and that I get to manage some of that balance. And there's some things that I can't control. I can't control how many competitors I have. I can't control what they're doing. I can't control certain clients, and sometimes they don't heed advice. I can't control that. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, make sure you update your website. But some of these things I can't control. And so the things that I can control, then that's what I try to focus on, whether that is literally just meal prepping for the week. It could just be that. Um, so yeah, that's
The little bites that you can take
yeah.
here and there.
Mhm.
I appreciate that, and that's good to know, because I feel the same way. The thing is, I know I'm old because I'm supposed to be, like, age wise, I'm supposed to be, but I have this thing where I will never feel old. I will always be a giant kid, even though I have my own kids. I feel like that some people grow up, and they grow old, and they forget what it's like to be a kid again. And I'd like to think that neither one of us really ever forgot. It's still there, and it's part of how we just kind of manage every day. So I end every episode about the same in the interest of time. And even though, as almost all the episodes go, the entire episode is usually great advice. However, I like to end with your specific advice. What is something you can give, whether it's something you live by or do within your business? What's a piece of advice you could give to listeners that now will have heard your story? They will help them in the regular day, other than update their websites, which they probably all do need to do anyway.
Two pieces. Don't be just getting help. Don't be afraid to ask for help. Don't be afraid um, to accept help. That was something that was detrimental to me. Growing up, I thought I'm the oldest. I should be able to do everything on my own, and then feeling bad when you can't. So, and this goes for whether you're in corporate, in business, it doesn't matter. Whether you have kids, tell your kids, like, hey, can you go and clean the countertops for me? Like, just ask for that support. Um, and then being comfortable with being uncomfortable. I know that's like a saying that a lot of people do, but I didn't realize how great it was for life when you start getting slightly uncomfortable, whether you hate networking and you start going to small networking events, whether you hate reading a P&L, right, for your business, the profit and loss sheet, and then you slowly start to even just watch a couple of YouTube videos on how do you actually read one. um, those are the things that really have supported me and in not just growing a business, but in all aspects. So like if I ever were to say, you know what, I'm done with business in 10 years, I'm going to work for corporate, hopefully remotely in Portugal or something, that's still being uncomfortable. Being okay with being uncomfortable is essential for learning things, for having new experiences, whether that is in a different country where you don't speak the language or in your own hometown and being and learning new things. And yeah, so those are the two: get help, accept help, and be uncomfortable.
Really, really good pieces of advice. And yeah, I live by, I think asking for help is hard for a lot of people, especially if you've asked and you're met with resistance,
Mhm.
especially when it was hard to ask in the first place. Do you have any advice for people that that try and are met with no's?
It depends on what you were asking for, but I would say keep trying or find the right person. That the person who said no, sometimes that no is not right now, right? Depending on what you were asking. If you were asking someone to give you advice and they said, I don't have time right now, that might be a not right now kind of thing. Uh, Sometimes it is a no, but they might not be the right person. It might not even be a reflection of you. It might be something in their life.
Yeah.
So if someone needs a ride and they ask me and I'm like, I can't right now. I am on the other, I'm in Portugal. It's not a
I'm going to help
reflection
you
of,
will this into the universe. It will
yes.
happen.
um it's not a reflection of you. It's just really what's state of mind are they in, what are they going through that they can't support you right now. So that in feedback, sometimes people receive some negative feedback, and it really, feedback is neutral. You can take it or leave it. You can take it and assess it later when you're not feeling so close to it, so attached to it. um, but yeah, like it's just a no. It's not going to, like, if somebody doesn't hire you, right? It's a no for right now. Maybe they weren't ready. Maybe their own bosses gave them a no, right? And so it's not a reflection of you. It's just a no. A no is just a word.
Sure.
Um, unless it's somebody telling you no, please, like, stay in your own space. That's a different kind of no. That's the one I'm teaching my kids. Like, no is a full sentence. You can just say no to that person.
Yes.
Um, but otherwise,
No,
it's
that's
just,
so helpful
yeah.
because people sometimes that once they come out and they ask and they're told no, they just run away and just say, I'm never
Right.
doing that again. So it's very helpful advice. I appreciate it.
What resonates most about Yasmine's story is how she's transformed survival skills into business strengths. Her ability to manage chaos, set firm boundaries, and maintain perspective comes from lived experience that many entrepreneurs don't talk about openly. Her honesty about therapy, self-help books, and meal prepping as tools for managing stress shows that success often comes from addressing the whole person, not just the business. I'm particularly moved by her advice to ask for and accept help. Coming from someone who's built a business while managing personal challenges and raising children, this isn't just professional advice, it's survival wisdom. Her reminder that being comfortable with being uncomfortable is essential for growth speaks to the reality that meaningful change rarely feels easy. Yasmine's vision for the future, potentially selling her business, moving internationally, and prioritizing community and travel, demonstrates what's possible when you build something sustainable rather than just profitable. Her transparency about ensuring her partners and employees are paid, even when it weighs heavily on her, shows what authentic leadership looks like. For those of you setting boundaries for the first time, building businesses while managing family responsibilities, or simply trying to ask for help when you need it, Yasmine's journey proves that you can create the life you want, even when the path isn't traditional. If today's conversation inspired you to embrace discomfort or finally ask for that help you need, share it with someone who needs to hear it. Remember, She Suite Society exists to amplify women's voices from all walks of life, proving that our greatest challenges often become our greatest strengths. Until next time, this is your host, Dahlia, reminding you that your life is your message to the world. Why not make it extraordinary?